Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, which is one that I've been debating on recording for quite a long time now, and I've ultimately decided I'm just going to have to go for it, and I'm going to be pulling for Yuna's EX weapon. For the longest time, I've told myself I don't need to pull on this banner, I don't need to pull on it, I'll pull on it when it comes back in EX Plus era, I'll pull on it with Kimahri, you know, because that would be the smart thing to do. I don't need Yuna, she's not meta, I need to get her cursed artifacts if I want to use her, but the banner's due to expire tonight and I can't do it. I cannot skip Yuna, I'm just not capable of doing it. Especially because I've got so many resources built up, so I'm going to be throwing a healthy number of tickets at it and I'm going to be hoping that I get it. I don't think I'm going to be going all the way down to 0 tickets, or I'm not going to go to pity, but I've just kind of been thinking about it for a while and I've realised that Yuna probably really is my favourite female character in the series, or at least she's in the top 5, and I just can't really bring myself to skip the banner, to be honest. Because honestly, I just love it that much. Valifor's implementation in this game is absolutely excellent. The fact that her Brave and HP attacks change into Energy Ray and Sonic Wings to reflect how Aeons stick around in FF10 is also amazing. And I mean, there's also the fact that she's perfectly usable when you get her to purple in the EX Plus era, and she'll be the best goddamn auto farmer in the game, so that's really something. But I'm really more pulling for this just because it's Yuna, because Final Fantasy X, I've gone on record to say that Final Fantasy IX is my favourite game in the series, and I will stand by that as being absolutely true. But FF10 is actually probably the single game in the series that I've replayed the most amount of times. So it should come as no surprise then to say that if we're going to discount spin-offs like Tactics, that 10 is definitely in a very solid second place as my second favourite in the series, and not without good reason in my opinion. And I'm not going to get into a kind of waffly spiel of why I really like FF10 as a game, but I am going to mention how Yuna really stood out to me as a character, and I think she's one of those people that kind of perhaps goes a little bit underappreciated the first time that you see her, or she's kind of really easy to write off, but the more that I've thought about it, and perhaps as well the older that I've got, the more I've really begun to appreciate just kind of how Yuna is as a character and as a person, and I suppose in some ways how much I relate to her in some ways as well, you know, but I can only ever hope to strive to reach her level in other aspects. So she's definitely the kind of white mage sort of healer archetype, but she's, how would I put it, she's very sort of gentle and demure and sincere on the surface. As Auron would put it, she's naive, serious to a fault, and doesn't ask for help. But that's one aspect of Yuna as a character. But the other aspect, I think, Maester Kelk Ronso sums up really well at the summit of Mount Gagazet when he says, "Small voice, small frame, but a will that towers above Gagazet's peak." And that really captures the essence of Yuna's character for me, because she is absolutely determined to a fault. Like, if there's people out there that haven't played FF10, I'm not going to spoil the story or say kind of, you know, how it ends up playing out, what happens to Yuna throughout the course of the game, what happens to Tidus, but she is absolutely driven and determined, and everything that she does for the benefit of other people. She wants everyone to be happy, and that's perhaps where her naivete comes from. She is also quite young, so she has that going, you know, she has that as well, so that's definitely part of why she always feels like she shouldn't involve other people in her troubles, and how she needs to sort of take everything onto her own shoulders and do it herself, and she shoulders an incredibly heavy burden. But there's just something about her character that kind of strikes me as being somewhat inspirational, because she is a kind of quiet person, and she is kind of reserved, especially in the first game. I have very mixed feelings about FF10 too. You really do see her sort of grow into her own more and sort of come out of her shell, but I also think the kind of Charlie's Angels aesthetic that FF10 had really makes it a very much love or hate game. I think some people love it and some people hate it. I loved it for the gameplay personally. I think that ATB in FF10 is the best implementation of ATB in Final Fantasy history, but the story is very hit or miss for me. I can appreciate it for being what it is, another light-hearted romp through Spira, if I don't take it too seriously, but every so often the story does have these really sort of serious moments to it, and there is one scene in particular where you kind of meet with Nuge at the bottom of like the cavity that forms in the temples of the faith, and you're about to take down Vegnagun, and Yuna proceeds to launch into like a 4-minute speech telling Nuge why his self-sacrificial plan sucks, and she really comes into her own there, because she opens up not only about her own vulnerabilities and what she was doing in the first game, you know, but it also is just kind of like a really good example of how much she's grown as a character, and it's that kind of that inner strength, that kind of resolve to see things through, and just how, I suppose, magnanimous her spirit really is, because, you know, she's not doing this for her own gain, she's not doing it for anyone really, she's doing it because she loves the world and she wants people to be happy, and that's just such a sweet and sort of sincere sentiment that there's no way that I can, you know, love a trait like that. It's so rare, especially nowadays. You really don't see that sort of, well, perhaps you do. I mean, it's just a very uncommon character trait to have that kind of, I know that there's definitely a downside to being self-sacrificing, but, you know, that kind of altruism is definitely, it's very idealistic, and I suppose you can call me an idealist at heart. I'm a sucker for stuff like that. I know it doesn't usually work like that in reality, but god damn it, you know, I just really like her. And there's also the fact that in FF10-2, Yuna was also one of my favourite characters to use from a gameplay perspective, because she is the only character in the game who can summon the Aeons, which are that game's versions of summons, and for the first time in the series history, FF10 is the first game that lets you actually control the summons on the battlefield, and let me tell you, 13-year-old me absolutely lost his shit over that. It was like the coolest thing ever. And I still think it's really cool, and it's incredibly broken until you get to the post-game in FF10 where Aeons are basically used as glorified meat shields. For the entirety of the storyline, you can basically coast through on the power of the Aeons alone, especially if you know how to use them, because they are that goddamn powerful. And especially you reach a certain point in the game and you get given items that let you teach Aeon's abilities. You can literally have Aeon solo entire boss fights, teach an Aeon haste, and you teach it protect, and you get that haste and protect on there. You shield every time the enemy's going to hit you, and then you just wail on them, and they will just not even, you know, they won't be able to stand a chance. Like, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that Aeons are just exist to use overdrives in FF10, but that's really not the case. You can absolutely solo bosses using Aeons. They're just the most broken, ridiculous game mechanic ever, and it's amazing. And I distinctly remember one sort of playthrough on FF10 where I gave Yuna every bonus stat sphere I had. I mean, the thing from winning the Blitzball game, I mean, all the things I got from the lightning dodging, every +4 strength, +4 magic, every bonus sphere I gave to Yuna, and she steamrolled the entire goddamn game. I remember when I got to one notorious boss that you get to, I'm not going to say which one it is, but people who've played the game, it had the one that has zombie themings, and it has 3 phases, and it's the first sort of major encounter, you know, at the you know, it's at Zanarkand. It's at the Zanarkand that you see at the beginning of the game when you actually reach there. I don't think it's that much of a spoiler to say you fight a boss when you get there, and that particular boss has a mechanic where, if I recall correctly, they kind of take half of the summon's health in one attack. They do this drain and they prevent you from using limit breaks. But I just bust out Bahamut with Yuna with all of my summon spheres, and I did a critical hit for 20,000 damage, because Bahamut comes with an innate break damage limit, and I sort of one-hit killed the final, or one of the forms at least, and actually did end up killing the boss with Bahamut, which was hilarious because I didn't think it could be done, but it was entirely possible. And you know, Yuna is actually the best black mage in FF10, don't at me, because if you take her down her own grid, then her magic stat is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's higher than Lulu's, and you just give Yuna black magic and she's just an absolute force to be reckoned with. So, you know, not only do I like her from a personality standpoint, and I actually think her design's quite attractive as well, but I also love her from a gameplay point of view. So there's nothing about Yuna that I don't have some level of appreciation for. So it should come as no surprise then that I'm going to be summoning on this banner, even if it means I'm going to be having to put myself through Cursed Artifact Hell. I have actually been farming for them before the Remove banner dropped. I managed to get a bunch of like Max Brave 330 with like one Cursed passive, but I've not managed to get a full perfect set for her yet. But the great thing about artifacts is that you can keep farming and keep farming now that the revamp is here, and eventually I'll get something worth having on her. But the banner will not be here forever, and granted it won't be forever until Kimari comes along, but I really just want to try for it now. I want to throw some tickets at this thing, and I want to see how well I do. So hopefully the hopefully the spirits of the faith are with me. Hopefully Yevon takes fit to bestow me with his blessings, and we actually get a visitation from Valifor on this banner, because if not, then I'm going to be pretty goddamn salty. But there's only one way to find out, so let's jump in and see how well we do. So I'm going to be looking to go down to, I'm going to say 300, and I might go to 350 tickets, I might go to 333 tickets, something like that. I definitely don't want to spend all my tickets, because I don't even have the white high crystals for Yuna, if I'm being perfectly honest. I can only really take her to level 61, because I also plan to draw on Realm later on as well, and oh shit, it's a gold orb. We're getting here. Gold number 1, after 3 tickets. Oh my god, no way! What the fuck? What the fuck? What even is that? What the hell? I'm just gonna leave you with that image for a bit. Wow. Miracles do happen. Miracles really do happen. Maybe Yuna saw fit to pay me back for my appreciation, because I just got a goddamn EX in 3 tickets. There is no way this is real life. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh my god, that's actually insane. That's OD. That's OD. What the fuck, man. Well, this is gonna be like 75% of this fucking video is just gonna be me talking at the start. There really are no pulls, like, at all. Oh my god. Well, what can I say? I could not be happier with this result. I get to keep my resources. I've got my Yuna EX. I've got her other weapons MLB. Now all I need is some proper good artifacts, and I am gonna be set. I'm so happy with this. Words can't describe. Yeah, fucking awesome. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone if you actually were crazy enough to listen to me ramble at the start. Thanks for sticking it out. Thanks for listening to this long. I hope you can see that this EX has actually given me some justice, and if there's anyone out there who hasn't pulled yet and they're having second thoughts about it and they really want to go for it, then I'm going to wish you all the best of luck on whatever your next pulls are. Whether you're going for Noel, you're going for Yuna, you're going for Setzer, whoever you're pulling for, I hope you get everything that you want. And until next time, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you later. Take care, and goodbye.